My name's Isaac, better known as Izzy the Bricky, and this week Drew and I started a brand new project building an extension on this old house. You guys watching the new instalment of Izzy the Bricky Weekly. Monday morning, I'm back off holiday and we are on the brand new extension we took over a couple of weeks ago. If you guys missed this video, this is where another bricklayer came onto this job, made a right mess of the footings. Drew and I ripped it all out, rebuilt it, and now we are here to actually send up the main extension. Since we've been gone, the ground workers have poured the concrete slab for us, so we've got a solid base to work off. The ground workers also knocked down our 2 course of blues and blocked split, so we've dug that up this morning and we're going to relay that in a little while. Now, today we have a steel, 3 steels turning up to put upstairs because we're having a garage conversion. So the steels have just turned up. We're going to give the lads a chuck to get them up. We'll get back to you in a little bit. Because otherwise, it's gonna like slide out, isn't it?
Just getting a lock on the top rubber and doing
Kiss that one, didn't we? You had enough of that wall, Drew.
I've had enough of the wall.
It's a big old steel, isn't it, to get up. So we've got these 2 steels which are holding the new floor finally in place. Now we're just about to dob on our proper pad stones. So something you need to watch out with these pad stones, because they're pre-cast, they've got a slight chamfer so they come out the mould correctly. When we lay it, we kind of need to have a tight bed on the bottom, a slightly bigger bed on the front. You can see how it's leaning that way massively, so we need to make sure we cock it back a little bit. Anyway, lift this up and we stand. Oh my god, f***ing fire. That's heavy. Well done. Happy? Oh my god. Good teamwork. First day back. Get me back to Italy. Okay. That was like mission impossible getting that up. Good work. That's horrible. Oh, just snap some slate. He's done that before, hasn't he? We've got all the steels actually in position and where they need to be, sat on their pad stones. We've roughly squared off from the original wall plate 1800 back to the back side of these steels. We're just working on setting everything to the heights. Because we're having a 3rd floor, we're keeping the original wall plate, which is still must be in somewhat good nick. We need our ceilings to run through perfectly level, and the top of the steel is also going to be our finished floor level upstairs, if that makes sense. So right now we're just ranging through and leveling from the top of our wall plate across to the underside of our steel, and at the moment I need to pick up about 10 mil to make sure that everything runs through level, so the joiner can easily put on his flooring and the plasterer won't have a problem with the ceiling. Once we've done that, might be able to go downstairs and have a look at some brickwork. I don't think we're going to do much laying today. That is bang on. That's perfect. So now all I need to do is the exact same on the other side. Yeah, just over here is where I'll do it. Right. Tuesday morning, Drew and I pretty much spent the entire day yesterday sorting out these steels, lifting them up, putting them in place, making sure they run through fantastic for the joiner later on today. I spent a little bit of time yesterday bricking up and around the first steel. Still got to do another 3 infills around these other steels. Compared to the other bricklayers bricking up, which is done these lintels, mine's just slightly tidier and I've taken a bit more time. Drew is also going to be cleaning up about 1,100 old reclaimed bricks outside. Unfortunately for Drew, it's raining, but but luckily for me, I'm working inside. We finally finished off doing all of the steelwork upstairs. The joiner turned up and brought out his very fancy laser. Turns out the wall plate from the far corner of the house to the opposite side of the corner, there was a difference of 170 millimeters. The house obviously has subsided massively, and when I first took this extension on, I mentioned that to the client, and he was very aware of that, and that's why all of the house has been underpinned and everything like that when all the footings were poured. So a massive difference in wall plate heights, and it's caused a bit of an issue. So we've had to actually pick up all of the steels, and all the bricking in yesterday was pretty much pointless, but we are back on track, got it all sorted again. Since the weather is proper shocking, I'm taking a bit of shelter, and I'm going to start replacing some of these old wooden lintels dotted all around the house. Now, back in the day, they used to use nice, big, solid bits of oak. Obviously, nowadays, we use metal lintels, which are a bit stronger and last a lot longer. As you can see, this bit of wood has finally pretty much given up. So I've just thrown an acro, which is going to be carrying this bit of weight here. I'll pop this out and stick a nice new L lintel in, build some brickwork above it, and then it'll be all nice and solid, and we can dot and dab straight over it. Couple of things about installing lintel on an old house, and Drew asked these questions just. He asked if we should put insulation in between the old cavity in this house. There's no insulation in this house already, so therefore it's actually not needed. Because this is going to be an extension where we're actually putting this lintel in, this is going to become internal brickwork, so it actually doesn't need to have any DPC or any weep holes or anything like that, because there's going to be no water above this penetrating, getting into the cavity and out. So we don't need any insulation because the house isn't designed for it. We don't need tray, we don't need weep holes. Earlier I mentioned how the house had subsided, and it's really obvious now we're trying to put this lintel on how much by. So I've got a 55mm split here, and then we've got our 85mm gauged old imperial bricks, and the level is reading almost 40mm out of level, and that's just in this 1200. So we're going to pack this up, I reckon, using some slate, and because it's going to be dot and dabbed, it's not going to be seen. It doesn't even matter if it works with horses or not. So yes. Andrew, hurry up. Finally started the main extension today. Last couple of days been sorting out steels, lintels, messing about. Drew's been cleaning some bricks. He's not got very far, but they are absolutely caked and we do need them pretty much spotless to do the extension. This morning, all I've done is set up my starter packs. I've done 2 course of block work. Now, the ground level on this job is actually quite high in relation to our finished floor level. So as you see here, I've actually put on my 450 DPC 225 higher than I usually would. And this is all because that our ground level is actually going to be coming up slightly higher, and we want our weep holes to be 150 mil higher than the ground level. Now, I've done a little diagram to show how we're going to stop any penetrating damp. Usually we have this tray detail here where we have our block work there and our weep holes here, and there's the splash, and then we have our face brickwork above here. No, it's not drawn fantastically. Because our ground level is higher, we've had to put this tray detail another course of blocks higher, and then to stop any penetrating damp which is going to be occurring here, we're going to end up tanking the first 2 courses of brickwork. When I refer to tanking, what I mean by that, all I'm going to do, I'm going to put some tray bedded on there. We're going to lay our 2 course of brick, and then that is going to wrap that totally. And then this tray detail will go on top of that. This therefore will be totally waterproof, and it will just be like a standard detail that you do on extensions. Just adding that extra layer of precaution because the ground level is really high, and especially on that side. Anyway, after that rambling, we're going to blast up this block work. Drew's going to carry on cleaning some bricks, and if he hurries up cleaning the bricks, he'll get on the trowel. We've sent this block work up to 9 courses, so almost 1 more briquette on top of this, and that should take us to 2100. Drew's going to point up the back of this block work anyway, and I'm just sorting out this area here. So what I've done, I've just made a pencil line from the corner of my house all the way down, and now I'm going to do a plumb cut there so I can put a starter pack on this lovely, because we're not going to be toothing in when we do the brickwork on this extension. And I've also just cleared out all of these half bricks and full bricks which were in the cavity, so all that's clear. So hopefully it doesn't rain. We're going to start laying the blocks on this side and hopefully get up to that height before the rain comes later.
It's so like a fucking Dorito.
We're going back.
There we go.
There we go, we're going back. Embracing the boldness. I am almost 30, believe it or not. That is where we are leaving it for today. We've sent up this blockwork here up to 9 courses, and we've done the exact same here. You might be thinking that there's 2 different coloured blocks. You are right, but they are both still concrete blocks. Same rating and everything like that, but just a different batch. Tomorrow, we are finally going to start the brickwork on the extension. We've had a delivery of some new Imperial bricks, what we're going to try and mix into the old ones. Just when Drew pulls his finger out and gets everything cleaned up. But there are, you know, quite a lot to clean up. Anyway, that is where we are leaving it. So we're going to catch you tomorrow morning. Starting some brickwork. Yes, yes. Thursday morning, it's just gone about 10:15. So far, we've just been messing about, sorting out all the blues what I've had to put back, so groundwork has knocked over. I've added on an extra 2 course of blues. And right now I'm just sorting out my tray detail I was speaking about yesterday. So we have a 450 tray, which is attached to the underside of this bed joint here. And it's like a C. It's going to loop round on top of this brick here. And it's going to be bedded on just like that. And then our normal 450 tray is just going to go straight on top of it. And we're going to have our weep holes out here. This is exactly like running a double damp. Sometimes when you have really high ground level, you run a double damp, so 100mm tray at finished floor level and then 150mm higher, and then you have your normal 450 tray detail, but this is just that extra bit of safety. So we've got 1 more course to go on there to make it all lovely and nice and watertight. Once we've done that, we're actually heading up there to help the joiner. Because he's having a loft conversion, he's actually going to start stripping all of the roof today, and because we're working down here, there's a high likelihood that something will fall on our heads and hurt us. So we are using the old reclaimed bricks from the original house, and there used to be an old outbuilding here. So we're reusing the old bricks. Now, these are the new Imperial blues we were given to do the splash and all the blue detail. And these are obviously the old ones. Now, if you come in close, you can see that there is a size difference, probably about 5 to 7mm, depending on which brick I pick up. So it is really common to lose your bond like I have done here. Now you can panic about this a little bit, but structurally there is no difference because we have our tray detail which breaks the bond anyway. So all I've done, just made sure that the bond works on the corner nicely, and then over there towards the house is I've laid a dead man. Now a dead man is just a brick or a block you lay, you level, you plumb, and you stick your line to it and then you just run to it. Now I've not quite worked out the bond just yet, so I'm going to run all the way to this dead man here, and then from there I'll know how to alter my bond, whether I need to open up the perps, close up, have a 3/4 here or a half. Oh, look at that. That works perfect. So it looks like we've lost half a brick with the larger bricks compared to those smaller blues below, but it doesn't matter. And now our tray detail should lap over perfectly. So we've got 1, 2, 3 protected courses, and then now we'll have our brickwork and weep holes all along this. Perfect. Right, it's 1:15. We've finally finished stripping that roof, me and the joiner. We're going to actually have a break now, but stripping all those tiles, and cell gloves, cut resistant, sand.
exactly. Just
Yeah, no,
it looks a bit dry.
No, it's not. It's just taking a... I swear it's not, isn't it?
It does though, doesn't it? Like,
It's just taking a little bit of work. Where do you want your compost? Anywhere but the wall. Look at the state of my tools.
it's a state of me, bro.
You like a little lumper.
I watched that the other night as well.
Right, there we go. That is where we're leaving it for today. It's about 4:10. Overall, brickwork side of things, not loads done, only about 200 or so bricks laid. But we did go up there, help the joiner strip all of that roof, which was pretty decent, and health and safety reasons, me and Drew didn't want to be working down here. And we also just lifted the final ridge beam steel in. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow we're going to wham this brickwork up pretty much full height to the block work and then start on the other side. So we're going to catch you tomorrow morning and hopefully get a lot of bricklaying done. Friday morning and we are back on the job. Now, yesterday I didn't get as much brickwork done as I wanted to. So today we are going to absolutely blast this up pretty much to full height. I've got Drew mixing up compo and sorting out all the mortar for us. And I'm going to get around loads and loads of bricks, get fully loaded. It's just gone about 9 o'clock. We've got set up, loaded out, Drew's threw on a load of compo and it started raining. So we've got that much compo that we can't go now and we're very dedicated to getting this brickwork up. So we've got some tarp, so somehow we're going to tarp up this area from this fence to the block work so we can keep laying and hopefully get this brickwork up today, and if the weather holds off, start some blues. So bear with us while we waterproof our work zone. A bit wet. Sunglasses was a silly choice today. So we've sorted out some covering for Drew and I to work under, and it's not too bad. Follow me. Look at this. It's like a lovely summer's day, isn't it? So we can just continue working. I don't think we'll be able to work down there today because I've got to lay 3 course of blues. And you know what it's like laying blues in the rain. Once again, Rhino Builders come in. Izzy 10 for your discount at checkout. Perfect for making teepees. And also, you can use them for laying bricks as well. But, you know, you decide. Now we are all sorted with our cover. We're going to get stuck in and get this wall up. How's the brick cleaning going? Terrible. We are getting in all of our insulation now. Because we're using these old imperial bricks, they don't work to our standard gauge we're used to nowadays, which is 225, 450, 675, 900. So everything works, ties, blocks, and our new metric bricks. Usually 6 bricks is 450 with our new metric system we use, and that works insulation and ties. Whereas 6 bricks with these old imperials is around 500 mil. So it throws all of your ties and insulation out. So to get over this, there's a couple of things you can do with your ties initially, and that is do your block work first and set your ties to your normal gauge. Because all of our ties are already built into the block work and set to our 450 or 225 gauge, which is what we're all used to, it still doesn't work with these imperial bricks. If I was to lay this brick here, you can see that our tie is actually going to be running back to the block work, which we don't want, because water or moisture can travel across the tie into the internal block work, and then you've got a damp spot. So to get over this, all we're doing, we're going to slightly lean our ties down on this particular course so everything works. So all we need to do is a small cut in the insulation. So there, the tie is level. We've got to tap it down ever so slightly. It's always better to have your ties, if you're using imperial bricks, slightly leaning towards the face brickwork. And the reason is that moisture can travel towards the face of brickwork and get out. Ties work now. So that's what we're doing. Drew is still cleaning bricks. Drew's still cleaning bricks. And that's what Drew's on with. Because these bricks are about 230, 235, sometimes 240, it meant that when I ran my bond out to my door here, I had a really weird cut, and I didn't really want that. So I've decided to cut each brick on this panel just so everything works bond, and it saves us having a ridiculous cut here or massive joints. So that's what we're doing here, and that's also taking up Drew's time. So lots of cutting for Drew and lots of brick cleaning, but lots of laying for me. The perks of being me, it's mint.
Thailand, that's
Right, there we go. That is where we're leaving it for today. We ended up sending this brickwork up here and all this brickwork up here So despite the weather, the tarpaulin did really help us today and allowed us to really push the job along, which is actually really decent. And it allowed me to do filming today so I can wrap up this week's video. Overall, this week actually has gone really well. Obviously, we got all the steels up. What else did we do? Sent all the block work up. Lots of messing about, resetting lintels and things like that. But overall, it has been a good week. Next week, we're going to be sorting out the brickwork on that side and doing a load more internal work. But anyway, on that note, Drew and I will catch you next week. Sand.